guys, welcome back to the Skinny Truth Podcast. We are on episode 10. Can you believe it? It has gone so fast. And today we are going to talk about loose skin and the fears surrounding loose skin.
This is the most common question that we get before surgery. So before anybody has ever lost a pound, they're not talking about which surgery or, how much weight do I need to lose or what about my diabetes? It is, what am I going to do with loose skin? So it is a very real topic that is on most people's minds before surgery. So I think today we just go through and discuss why it's such a big topic and why it's so important to so many people.
Yeah, it is. It's one of the most, common questions that I see on my page too, that holds people back because they're worried about the loose skin. And I can tell you just like up front that being 400 pounds and the loose skin, I would choose the loose skin every day over being 400 pounds because the loose skin didn't limit my ability to do things and live life like my obesity did.
And I think you hit the nail on the head. This is weighing obesity versus loose skin. The risk of dying early versus loose skin. Diabetes, loose skin, or diabetes, heart disease, cancer, bad joints, and loose skin. And so I think a lot of people believe that they will be limited by the loose skin. And you had a lot on your lower body, but
I did, yes.
I do recall that you still worked out, right? How did all of that loose skin impact your ability to exercise?
I honestly don't feel like it did really in any way. Nowadays, guys, we live in leggings. They have very compressive leggings and it holds it in. And I honestly never felt like it was holding me back from exercise.
This is what I will tell people in the beginning, as you're losing the weight, you can hide a lot. There's some that you can't hide, but you can hide a lot. Things that you can't hide, usually face and neck. Those are a little bit harder areas, but arms, abdomen, legs, those can be hidden until you want to do something. And so, just, I guess, starting the conversation off is, who gets loose skin? Which people? Is it everybody that weighs 400 pounds gets it? And the answer that's no. I will tell you, I have evolved I'm going to show my age here a little bit. I'm coming up on 17 years of doing this.
Wow.
And I distinctly remember, we used to do live seminars. They weren't online seminars, and patients would come and you have a big room full of people and they ask us questions. But my line when I would get this question was, don't worry about loose skin. Loose skin never killed anybody. Mm-hmm. And that is still true today. It doesn't. However, I definitely underappreciated the idea of how it impacted someone psychologically.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until, it was about 6.5 years ago that I did a weight loss surgery on somebody that I see every day. Uh-huh. And I promise you that like the first 6 months were awesome. I'm doing so good. My high blood pressure's gone. Everything was unicorns and lollipops every day. And it was like 6 months in one day. And it was, what are you going to do about this? What are you going to do about this? And what are you going to do about this? And I'm like, oh, hold on. You're doing great. And it literally consumed her every day. And I think that's the thing. As humans, we all have problems. Mm-hmm. And okay, you get rid of your obesity, but something always comes in.
You have a new problem. Yeah.
Right. It's not like everything goes away and here's the loose skin and people focus on that. And maybe, I don't know, I think you could probably relate to this. Maybe it's your last reminder of where you never want to be again.
Absolutely. I always said that. It was a constant reminder of how badly I treated my body. And I can definitely relate with that.
Yeah, it's the sign of, I don't want to go back to this person. I need this gone. I want to move on with there are some really severe cases of loose skin out there, but those are the ones that are really on my 600-pound life.
Yeah.
That's just not something that we see daily. It's not to say they're not out there. It's just that's not the vast majority of patients that we see. And so when I get asked the question of who gets it, the answer I say is that, we don't know. And it's all in your genetics. So as I started getting, what happened with that lady is I started getting into loose skin, and I'd seen some, just some bad outcomes from people that have had loose skin stuff. And as we put a program together to address it, I felt like that was the last part of I thought we had one of the best programs in the country, but that is something that we weren't addressing. And that opened my eyes to like the complete journey, not just the losing weight and getting healthy part. So we've got all sorts of devices and techniques and plastic surgeon and, that we do, but who gets it? I can tell you that I was no better than 50-50 at guessing who would get it or not.
Wow.
And that's not good. You can flip a coin and do better. Probably do better in Vegas than that. So, it just was, and it's mind blowing to me that I was wrong half the time.
Yeah.
And 400-pound patients that don't hardly have any loose skin.
Yeah.
Someone who has lost 60, 70 pounds and has a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So one thing I think that I want our bariatric surgery patients to keep in mind, though, or, present in their mind, is that loose skin is something that everyone thinks about, not just bariatric surgery patients. This is women that are getting older, women who have had babies. What is the very first thing after you have a baby that you want to get rid of?
Yeah, your tummy. You want to lose weight, get back to where you were.
Like as fast as you can. I mean, that's just something that, and that's not bariatric surgery patients. That's just everybody. Men, as we get older, if we start to see something, on our neck, and I've had something done on my neck. I mean, I'll never forget, on this day and age of social media, and we're always doing this recording. And I remember coming home to look at this video, and I was like, Kristen, what is wrong with this? I mean, our video guy, he doesn't know what he's doing. And she's like, what are you talking about? I was like, well, look at my neck. It looks like there's 3 of them. And she goes, well, you can do something about that. I go,
she's like, it's not the cameraman.
Okay,
Right.
What? I mean, that was just mind blowing. And then I said, what? And she goes, well, do that thing that you've been doing to patients for 2 years with their necks. I'm like, okay. So, as a doctor, you don't want to be the one that has to have something done.
Right.
But it was awesome. I mean, it was just the best thing. And so, for the bariatric patient, it's kind of, I tell people it's like a reward. Okay. Yes, it's the last sign, but now you're into the fun stuff. If you want to have it done, if it's bothering you, you want to have something done, there are options.
Yes.
But this is a reward. I will tell you that it's harder. It's probably harder than the bariatric surgery by far.
Oh, absolutely. Yep. Definitely.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, without a doubt. Harder than because the physical recovery from bariatric surgery is not bad at all.
Yeah, loose skin's it can be big incisions.
It's a big surgery.
But I look at patients that get loose skin that are not bariatric surgery patients, and that's pretty much a lot of women that have babies. So who gets it? It is completely dependent on genetics. And here's the 2 examples that I would give you. You have one woman who has their first pregnancy and has terrible, terrible stretch marks and develops loose skin on her lower abdomen because of it. Then another woman who's had 5 pregnancies, not a single stretch mark, and no loose skin. That all comes down to their genetic makeup. How much collagen and elastin is in their skin? How well will it spring back? Those are things that a doctor cannot look at you and say, you're not going to get it, or you are going to get it. So it should never, ever, though, be a deterrent to getting healthy. Because I think I was right that it's never killed anybody, but I was wrong in the sense that it can still impact someone's life. And so who gets it? That is literally how you were born and what your mom and dad gave you from day one. So as far as health risks that are associated with it, there aren't any. However, as far as like serious health risks.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
But you can get rashes and infections. Did you have issues with that with your loose skin?
I actually didn't. And this is really interesting to me. When I was at my heaviest, like 400 pounds, I did get rashes like under folds of my skin, and it improved. I mean, almost completely went away, even with the loose skin. So I don't know what the difference was, but it was an improvement for me. It didn't get worse.
And that is something that we see a lot of with obesity is you have the folding over the skin, and it's heavy. It's very heavy,
Yeah.
which makes it much harder to clean, much harder to keep dry. And I think probably as you lost your weight, everything got much more maneuverable.
Yeah.
Which,
yeah.
you know,
so
it's
you're
easier
cleaning better. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And so that is really interesting. People think you're more prone to rashes and infections with loose skin after surgery, but we see just as much of that on the front end before you've ever lost weight.
Absolutely.
And so, you know, just being able to clean yourself easier is a huge advantage. And so, you know, then you get into the same situation of who gets it. Is it old or young people? It's in your genetics. It doesn't matter. I'd say older people are probably a little more less likely for the skin to come back. But I am telling you, I have seen older people lose a significant amount of weight and not really have any loose skin to speak of. It is a crazy thing. Now, as it comes to how people develop loose skin, this is something I see on your social media all the time. Everybody's asking you about your neck.
All the time.
Have you had anything done to your neck?
Nothing. I've had nothing done to my neck or my face besides like Botox. That is all that I've had done.
And so you didn't get any loose skin here?
I mean, there's like a little, but I mean, it's not.
Yeah, no, there's not any loose skin there.
There's a little, but it's not bad. I mean, you see some people, they get it really bad.
What about your legs? Did you get loose skin on your legs?
Oh my gosh. My legs were probably one of the worst spots on my body.
Okay, so explain that to me. How do you not get any loose skin here, but you do get it on your legs?
Yeah, I have no idea. I didn't do anything.
It's just your genetic makeup.
Yeah.
That is it. It is just how people lose skin in the craziest ways. I had a lady that I remember I did her surgery, and she was probably like 60, 65. Beautiful lady, lost all her weight, lost 100% of her excess weight. Like, she killed it. Husband had died years before. She started getting social again, and she got into ballroom dancing. And she came in a year later for me to do a procedure called Body Tight, which is a radio frequency assisted liposuction. But anyway, where do you need this? And she kind of lifted up her skirt a little bit just above her knees, and she had these two huge fat pockets right on her inside of her upper knee. I was like, are these bothering you? She goes, I need to wear a shorter skirt to dance, but I don't want to wear a shorter skirt. I'm wearing longer skirts so people don't see this.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I have got my head in the sand. That makes complete sense I would have never thought about that other than the fact that you're in ballroom dancing now. She goes, I wouldn't have thought of it either. It never bothered me until now. Instead, as she lost the weight, it just got more prominent. So took care of it, and it was great. But I mean, everyone just loses weight differently, and it's not predictable. It is just not. Now, if you already have loose skin somewhere, another example of that, like you don't have any loose skin on your neck, but you have a lot on your legs, but you're the same person with the same genetics. That's just you.
Yeah.
Again, and so I think what we do know is that the health risk of obesity are severe, and we see that on a daily basis. I think you're a great example, though, of how one can really hold you back, and the other may be a nuisance, but it's not going to keep you from living.
Right. My life was exponentially better with loose skin than it ever was being obese. I just can't stress that enough, that do not let the fear of loose skin keep you from living your best life and being able to do anything and everything that you've ever wanted to do. There's just no comparison. There's being on this side of it, there's just literally no comparison.
Would you, if I said you could never have any skin removed, would you still have chosen to go through with the modified duodenal switch?
Absolutely. 100%. No doubt. Because, and people ask me if you wouldn't have been able to have the skin removal, people ask me that exact question. And I say yes, because like I just said, there's just no comparison when I'm on this side. I was so limited in my life when I was 400 pounds. I could barely walk. Cleaning myself was hard. Playing with my kids. I mean, I couldn't go on an airplane. Just all of those things that we say are like non-scale victories, the things I couldn't do, I could do with my loose skin. They didn't keep me from doing anything.
And people probably couldn't see 95% of your loose skin either.
Yeah. Nope. I mean, I have lots of videos on my Instagram where I would have my leggings pulled up and then I would pull them down and then it's like, whoa, like we didn't know that that's what was under there. And I mean, you can hide, like you said, you can hide it really well. If you aren't if you want to hide it, hide it. If you want to flaunt it, flaunt it.
Well, I think we should get some sort of socially acceptable form of male leggings. I think that would be, the only fair thing
Right.
the only fair
Males
thing
need
to
some
do.
tight leggings. Yeah.
Maybe something for our biceps to make them look bigger. I think that would be fair.
Yeah.
A question that I'll get sometimes is, what about insurance coverage for this? And there are certain situations that an insurance that will cover skin removal surgery. The two that I have seen would be just removal of the lower apron of skin on the abdomen and then breast reduction surgery. And obviously this varies by insurance and states, and you got to call for your own specific policy and what they do or not. But that's
right.
the two areas that I've seen. Generally speaking, you need to document really well, and it's really hard. I mean, it's hard to get covered by insurance. Most of them don't see it as medically necessary, but heck, a lot of them still don't see weight loss surgery as medically necessary.
I was just gonna say that. Yeah.
We're still fighting that today. We're constantly fighting, trying to get stuff approved. But you usually have, somewhere from like 3 to 6 months of documented rashes that aren't being treated. And even then, it only covers that lower part, not a full tummy tuck. Or then like breast reduction surgery, there's a whole bunch of criteria I'm not as familiar with, but it usually has to do with back pain and rashes and things along those lines. So there are situations that it can be, and start checking into that now, even ahead of surgery. I would not let it keep you from going and proceeding with it, but you can be proactive and figure out, okay, what does my current policy cover and not cover? And I think just in general, we got to be far more proactive with our insurance companies in determining kind of what are my rights, and what am I paying for? Why am I paying this really high monthly payment? What am I getting for it?
What are they covering? Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes they cover more stuff than you think. So I have seen that. Now, as far as options, I tell people there's basically anywhere from completely non-invasive to minimally invasive to maximally invasive, and it just depends on your comfort level and what you want done, what you're willing to want skin all gone and completely removed, but you're willing to tolerate the scars. So that's going to be like your tummy tucks and your thigh lifts or lower body lifts, things like that. Your non-invasive stuff, and it works really well. I mean, you could speak to this: pain, downtime, cost.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the tummy's the worst, I would say. But as far as the other ones, I mean, they're really not, they really have not been terrible. But I will say, when you bring up scars, and that's another thing you have to weigh. Loose skin or the scars. And the scars for some people are like a deal breaker. They don't want those scars on their body. For me, it doesn't bother me. So that's just another one of those things you have to weigh. Which one would you rather do?
Yeah, and people are completely different when it comes to that. And so when you get to the minimally invasive part about loose skin, this is where we started doing the body tight and face tight procedures at our office. And it's instead of like for the arm having the big scar this way, we do a tiny incision and a tiny incision. You're wide awake, you're in the office, radio frequency energy, some liposuction, and you do get significant improvement. Now, is it perfect like having it cut off? No, but you also have no visible scars. And so that's yet another option it's in the middle of minimally invasive. So significant improvement, not perfection. And then you get all the way into like the completely non-invasive, where they put, some sort of machine on you somewhere and deliver energy, or people probably remember the way they used to do cold sculpting where they'd freeze stuff.
Yeah.
And those generally don't work as well for loose skin, for a lot of loose skin. So, but it also comes with zero scars.
Right.
And so that's where you have this, no scars doesn't work as well. Huge scars works great, or the middle ground where, and we do a lot of those, especially necks. And that's what I did. And I probably have done it on 90% of my office staff. And of which 90% have not had weight loss surgery. I mean,
Right.
a
It happens
variety.
as we age.
I think that's the take on point is loose skin concerns are valid. In my mind, they're not enough to keep you from pursuing health and getting healthy. But remember, this is something that every single person on this, well, just about person on this planet, as they get older, they think about, about your necks and your under eyes and your eyelids and this and, your abdomen. You've had a C-section. I mean, this is one of those common things we see with women is having that lower scar, that C-section, and then skin sticks down, and then the rest of it kind of starts to come over the top. And they are just very, very self-conscious about that. But that's also the great thing about it. We do have options to fit almost everybody's wants and desires, from big scars and downtime to tiny scars and almost no downtime to no scars, but doesn't work as well. So, it just happens, and we're there. And when you're 35 or you're 25, you don't think about this.
Yeah.
When you're 35, you start to kind of wonder about.
Start thinking about it. Yeah.
Crow's feet and your frowny smile or your frowny your 11s and these different things, and things that can help with, especially like on the face, because that's a question you get. What can I do now ahead of time to prevent it? I would say there's not much on the body part. On the face, honestly, a really good medical grade skincare regimen is probably the best thing you can do is take care of your skin now. So here's another thing. Why do people say you look, not you, but in general, why does someone look older when you lose weight? Okay. As we get older, in say non-weight loss surgery patient, just normal people, you lose fat in your mid-face. That's a normal process. Unfortunately, we pick it up and gain it everywhere else.
Other places.
But we lose it here. Fat is the perfect filler. Fat is something that it's your body's own substance. You can get in here and it kind of pops out wrinkles and smooth things and gives you the volume back in your face that will lift it back up. Obviously, you can put too much in, and that's not good either.
Right.
But as you get older, you lose this. And that's why you see so many people that will do fat transfers or filler combined with Botox because this is what you see. When someone has weight loss surgery, they're accelerating the fat loss in their face, but they are getting back. Let's say you take a 50-year-old who had weight loss surgery and they're a year later, they've lost their weight. And people are going to face and say, well, I see more wrinkles, they look older. This is what they would look like at age 50 if they never had an obesity problem.
Right. They're comparing them to when they were overweight.
Which is not a fair comparison.
Right.
It's like,
yeah.
And we see that a lot. I mean, I do not understand some of the comments I see on social media when people talk about looking older. I mean, it just is, it's like the person looks happy. They look healthy. They no longer have all their comorbid conditions anymore. The diabetes is gone, but you're worried about looking older. And that's that part. Because I don't think it's true.
That's one that, people tell me on Instagram all the time that somebody said the other day I looked like a 70-year-old grandma. So whatever. If I looked like a 70-year-old grandma, I'll take it because you know what? I'm not on any medications. I'm healthy. I'm going to live a lot longer. I might not have lived to 70 if I was 400, continued down the trajectory that I was going. So don't let the fear also of looking old hold you back because it doesn't matter.
I think you look younger. Now, and I've seen it both ways. I do have some patients that I think probably look a little bit older. However, the way they would normally look if they never had a weight issue.
Right.
So I don't feel like weight loss surgery caused that. It caused the fat to go away just the way it normally would. And that's when, again, that we have treatment options for the face that a ton of Americans, I mean, the aesthetics industry and especially the facial cosmetic industry is huge. There are so many treatments. That same energy we put in the arms for body tight and face tight in the neck, we do in the face with radio frequency microneedling. It's one of those things you honestly should probably do every year because it stimulates collagen and elastin and skin tightening. It does all of these things because as we age, we lose collagen and elastin. That is just how the skin starts to look different from when you're 20 to when you're 50. It's just it. So
just a normal process, but there are things you can do.
They are, and lots of them, and they're coming out with newer things all the time. I mean, it's just one of those things. I know, if as we kind of wrap this up, I've heard it every day for 17 years. what about my loose skin? My advice from the doctor side, loose skin never killed anybody. We have tons of treatment options. Get healthy, get your life back. Loose skin can be dealt with. If you got it, number one, and if you wanted to deal with it, number two. There's options, and I think you're living proof of that.
Yeah. I mean, from a patient's perspective, like I said earlier, I can't ever fathom letting my loose skin prevent me from the life changes that have occurred because of my weight loss. And we could talk about this for hours and hours, but it's also not just bariatric surgery that you get loose skin. Any type of weight loss, depending on your genetics, what we talked about, you might have loose skin.
Well, we are seeing this in a big time way with the weight loss meds. To the point where you have plastic surgeons that have actually coined the term Ozempic face. And it's actually worse because they're not just losing fat, but they're having some muscle wasting as well. So, we'll get into that. That's a whole nother episode about the medicines, but losing weight will do it. And I think people think that too. Well, that was the other myth is if I lose it fast or if I lose it slow, that makes a difference.
Yeah.
It does not. It does not make a difference if you lose it fast or if you lose it slow. It's the act of losing it that can cause loose skin. So it's not black or white. It's not male, female. It's not old, young. It is just whether or not your genetics is going to help your skin spring back or not. And if it doesn't, then we have options.
Yep. Don't let it hold you back. Don't let the fear of it. Get healthy, live your best life because it's worth it.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we will end this episode there. We really, really appreciate all our viewers and our patients and people on social media in this awesome space that we're in right now. So thank you for listening. Again, please follow, like us, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Ask questions on there so we know what future topics that you want to hear about. We respond to them. So thank you again for spending your time with Laura and I. Have a great day.
Yep. See you next time, guys.